My name is Sebastian Wintero. I worked on the movie Kajillionaire, Miranda July's third feature film. I met Miranda a couple of years ago, and the short film was a very good example of what she is as a director and what her field of interest is. Obviously, I'm a fan of her movies, her previous work, and her books and everything that she's done so far. It becomes a bigger thing than just doing the project, and I kind of prefer it that way because the collaborations that I'm attracted to and that I'm hoping to get more of are the ones that also include like a personal relation. It's more, you go and meet someone, and if that turns out to be like a relation that you feel is inspiring and is challenging for both of you, then it's obvious you should work together because something's going to happen. Besides the collaboration, which was incredible and inspiring and wonderful, the whole planning and the prepping of this project was also quite special because she's very meticulous about what she wants, and she's very, very precise, and she has a very, very preempted idea of where things should go and what things should be. And that meant that we would start planning and talking about scenes and having Skype sessions almost a year before we went into actual like normal hot prep. And I prefer it that way, and I'm very happy that she wanted to do it because I feel that's by far the best way you can do it. If you can kind of get things going, kind of slowly amp up and get into speed and get to know each other and get to know the project. Because you have so much time and because you're not confronted with locations and logistics and mutation, when you read a script the first time, it's like that's such a pristine moment, and that's where the movie can be whatever you want it to be. It's such an amazing moment when you read it because you can imagine whatever you want to because everything is for free at that time. And from the script to you actually see it on screen, so many things happen and so many factors decide how the movie ends up and what shapes it. Choosing cameras and choosing format was also quite a long process. We looked at a lot of movies and we went back and forth between different ratios quite early in prep as well. I feel that 235 was kind of the first decision was choosing the ratio, and 235 was an obvious choice because we knew we wanted to have like the wider frame for the scope and for the kind of iconic, the sense that you can land in a frame and becomes like a static, almost like an icon if you frame it for that. And we also knew that we wanted to have Evan be with her parents, be with other actors as much as we could in the same frame. So 235 was a good decision. And I think the reason that I like it the most is it becomes a very precise format. It kind of makes you commit in a certain way because it has that extra width. Approaching the film visually, there was a lot of balances that we had to hit quite right, and one of them was obviously being intimate, but at the same time being a little bit distant. The backbone of the language was a very, very simple approach, trying to see if we can contain scene in one-ers. So trying to see if there was like one shot or like one sequence that we could make cover the whole scene. And the reasons for that were many, but most importantly, we wanted to see if we could have Evan, the lead character, be in the frame with everyone at the same time. We wanted to see people react and act to each other rather than cutting back and forth. And that obviously meant trying to be wide lenses, trying to be tracking, moving the camera as much as we could to make sure that we could kind of tell the scene without getting bored, without ending up in like static shots, and still kind of tell the story, still be where we wanted to be emotionally for the different beats of the scene. So it ended up being a lot of Steadicam, but even more so a lot of dolly tracking shots. So a lot of figuring out where can tracks go, not trying to kind of dictate where actors should go in a scene. I don't like, and Miranda doesn't like to kind of tie actors down prematurely. There's a certain respect for a scene as a thing that happens between actors in a room. They are delivering everything to us, and we should respect that. You can't just tell them exactly what to do because it's their scene and they're doing it for us. I mean, they're exposing themselves for us. But at the same time, we still wanted to have, we still wanted to plan. We still knew we wanted some of these shots. There was like crucial key images that we kind of knew these were the ones, and that was a dilemma, and that was always the challenge going into locations and going to scenes on the day, because we kind of wanted them to do in a certain way, but still wanted them to have freedom. So in determining the actual look for the film, not camera moves, not lenses, but the look that pertains to what goes on the screen in the end, that was also a process that started pretty early on. During pre-production, we already started looking at images and like image quality. What's the look of Los Angeles? We knew this was going to be a Los Angeles film in the way that we're embracing the harsh sun. We're embracing the fact that these guys live almost on the street. They walk the sidewalks as no one does over here, and we knew we wanted to have that. So I mean, where you would maybe usually usually hide in backlighting, because that tends to be more generous and kind of more flattering. We weren't afraid, or we knew pretty early on that we wanted to embrace the flat light, the hard light, sometimes also the top light. So it was kind of, the process was also kind of letting go of your vanity sometimes, because you want it to look pretty, and pretty is not always the best approach for every scene. So the actual grading sessions were at EFILM Los Angeles. We had I think around 2 weeks. Working with Tom also meant working with someone that I knew before, and because I knew him before, I felt like I could reach out and we could start conversations about the look of the film already in prep. So while I was talking to Miranda and kind of making decisions on the visual approach of this film, I could kind of keep him in the loop of where we were going and have his opinion, and also have him apply himself as a human being on the film, as opposed to just kind of walking in with the technician, all my visions laid out, here are the references, here's how we're going to go. And I feel that's such a rewarding way of collaborating. Besides getting the look, we actually also had time to explore a little bit, and there's a few like grading decisions that I feel contributed to the storytelling as well. There were lighting effects that we were kind of trying to articulate on the shoot that we couldn't achieve, and which we went back in grading and did instead. The movie ended up looking exactly the way that I was hoping for, and the beauty of it was that it actually also had a little bit more, because we had time to explore. We had time to kind of have Tom bring ideas, try them out, have other people bring ideas, try them out, and go back again. So it wasn't like this is the set of ideas, this is the vision, whether we're going to end up, this is like the final result. This was a process where everyone got to engage, and I really like that.